Hello everyone. Today in this video we are going to discuss the internal structure of the kidney. Myself Dr. Ankit Khandelwal, MBBS NMS, and this is my YouTube channel Anatomy Explained. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So let's start the topic, internal structure of the kidney. So here we can see that the internal structure of the kidney is divided into a cortex and a medulla. The cortex is the outer part which is inside just the capsule. So kidney as an organ is covered by a capsule. The previous video we have done about the gross anatomy of the kidney, so that link will also be there. So the outer cortex or the cortex is divided into a part which is the outer part known as the outer cortex. This would be just beneath the capsule, so it will be subcapsular. Then there is a part of the cortex which is lining the medulla, and that is known as the juxtamedullary cortex. Medulla is the region of the kidney that is beneath the cortex. And then there would be part of the cortex which would be running inside the medulla, or if we can say the between the medulla, that is known as the renal columns, also known as renal columns of Bertini. Renal columns of Bertini. Now second part is the medulla. Medulla is lying inside or inner to the cortex. Medulla is made up of conical pyramids. So there are various conical pyramids, the apex of which are known as papillae. So we'll just see, look in the figure also. The medulla is basically pyramids, the apex of which are known as papillae. Now as from the cortex we had the renal columns which were going between the pyramids as the renal columns of Bertini. In the same way we have from the medulla few structures which are known as medullary rays that would be going towards the outer cortex. Now let's look at an image over here. This is a basic image which is made up for the kidney. This is the outer part, that is the capsule of the kidney over here. These are your conical pyramids. These are your conical pyramids, and these are the parts of the medulla. And therefore as this is a part of medulla, so it is automatically understandable that this between the capsule and this pyramid or the base of the pyramid, this is the area of the cortex of the kidney. Now this cortex is divided into a part which is just beneath the capsule, so that this region would be a outer cortex, and this region that is towards the medulla or near to the medulla, that is known as our juxtamedullary cortex. This would be known as juxtamedullary cortex. Okay, so we have a cortex and a medulla. Medulla made up of pyramids. Pyramids, the apex are going towards, or you can say towards the hilum or towards inside. These are known as papillae. These are known as papillae. So papillae are part of pyramids, and these are constituting the medulla part of the kidney. Now between the pyramids, as we saw that there are renal columns. So these are your renal columns or renal columns of Bertini. They are a part of cortex. And also that from the medulla there are few medullary rays which are going towards the cortex. These are our medullary rays. These are our medullary rays. Okay, so the basic architecture, basic internal structure of the cortex and the medulla. Okay, so what is there in the cortex and medulla? Basically we have nephrons. As we know, the functional unit, functional thing in the kidney are the nephrons, and nephrons, as we all know, there are around 1 million nephrons in each kidney. Nephrons, we have a basic structure that is a Bowman's capsule which will be having your capillaries known as glomerulus. So it is a Bowman's capsule, and after this you have a tubules. You have a whole region made up of tubules. You have the proximal as well as the distal convoluted tubules, and you also have a Henle's loop inside this part of kidney, that is between the proximal and the distal. You have the Henle's loop, and after the distal we have the collecting part. The reason I'm telling you over here is because in the cortex, mainly the Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus, they are found in the cortex. So there would be some in the juxtamedullary cortex. Now imagine these are your glomerulus over here or the Bowman's capsule, and few would be the outer cortex, and you will have convoluted tubules lying over here, and the vasa recti would be going down. Vasa recti, or you can say the Henle's loop. Okay, so between the tubules you have the Henle's loop that will be going down. Vasa recti is the arrangement of the capillary plexus around the Henle's loop. So Henle's loop will be going towards the medulla. So these convoluted tubules and these Henle's loop, they are actually filling up the cortex and medulla. So they are the functioning units. So functioning meaning by that they are forming the urine. They are forming the urine, or they are the excretory part of the kidney. So that is one system. Now what I'm telling you over here to just make the things a little bit more simplified and more understandable, that what we are discussing till now is the cortex medulla is the excretory part of the kidney. So therefore kidney is divided into a excretory part over here and a second part, that is your collecting part. Excretory part is the one which is basically forming the urine. So that is basically our nephron part and the tubules and the Henle's loop. So that is embryologically coming from the metanephric blastema, or you can say the metanephros. It is mesodermal in origin. Not just this, even the second part, that is the collecting part. Now the urine has been formed by all the secretion, ultrafiltration. Now it will be collected in the collecting part. That collecting part is coming from the embryologically coming from the ureteric bud, which is a bud which is coming from the mesonephric duct. So this is again a mesodermal origin. Okay, so few parts of this collecting part, not just the ureter, but other parts like the renal pelvis, the calyces, they will be lying inside the kidney. So we'll going to see what are these. So we just covered up the excretory. Now let's see the collecting part. So here we have seen the cortex and medulla, mainly having the nephrons and its parts. They will be forming the urine, and finally this collecting ducts, they will be opening into the papilla. The collecting ducts, they will be opening near the papilla. Okay, so this papilla was what it was at the apex of the pyramid, at the apex of the pyramid. Okay, so collecting ducts are now opening over here. Now from here you have the collecting part which started. Okay, or you can say the collecting tubules are also a part of collecting part embryologically. So the collecting tubules, the question comes as embryologically ureteric bud. The tubules, the Bowman's capsule, metanephric blastema. So the collecting duct are opening over here, and from here the collecting part will start, and collecting part starts with the structures over here which are known as minor calyx. So there will be few small collections which are known as minor calyx. They will be right at the summit of the papilla, and these minor calyx, they will be collecting the urine, and from this minor calyx the urine will go into the major calyx. So obviously there will be few bigger calyces over here which will be known as major calyx, Okay, now few of the major calyx singular and calyces plural, they will actually combine, and they will drain into infundibulum. They will drain to infundibulum. Now let me write over here that this was your minor calyx which got the urine from the collecting duct part. Few minor calyces will meet and they will form the major calyx. Okay, few major calyces would meet and they would form the infundibulum. Infundibulum as a literal word means funnel shape, and this infundibulum is the one which is opening into the renal pelvis. Now what is this renal pelvis? Come to it. Before coming to the renal pelvis, we have to understand this term, that what is happening over here. Infundibulum are the funnel shaped structures. There are normally two infundibulums, upper and a lower infundibulum. Normally you have two infundibulums, a upper and a lower one infundibulum. In the upper infundibulum, around 3 pairs of major calyces they open up. In the lower infundibulum, around 4 pair of major calyces they open up, and all will form into the renal pelvis. Sometimes there is a upper, and instead of lower there is also a third one, or you can say upper, middle and lower. In that upper, middle and lower, the upper one will be draining the 3 pair of major calyces. These are pairs of major calyces, and the middle and the lower one will have two pairs. So instead of this 4, it could divide into 2 and 2 pairs if there are 3 set of infundibulums, and they finally drain to renal pelvis. Renal pelvis will then finally continue as the ureter. Now where does the renal pelvis continue as the ureter? We'll look at the diagram. Okay, so this is a collecting part. Now if you come back to this figure over here, then we have to understand over here, let me point it out, that with this yellow color, this area inside this hilum is your renal sinus. Renal sinus means a dilated area. So this whole area which I have now highlighted is your renal sinus. This is your area which is known as a renal sinus. Now what is there? A renal sinus? Renal sinus is an area. Renal sinus is mainly containing the renal pelvis. Now what is this renal pelvis? This is your ureter. Okay, now around the lower side, or you can say that this as being the medial border, along its lower edge of the medial border, this part is your renal pelvis. So normally the renal pelvis forms ureter, or it joins the ureter around the outside the hilum of the kidney. Okay, around the close to the medial border at its lower pole. So around somewhat over here you have the connection of, or you can say the pelvic-ureteric junction. Pelvis and ureter, pelvic-ureteric junction. So this renal sinus is having renal pelvis, and this area, I hope you know, in every organ we call it as the hilum of the organ. So this is the renal hilum. Okay, so renal hilum, renal sinus. Renal sinus, apart from having the renal pelvis, will be having these major vessels, that is your veins and arteries. So renal sinus will also have the renal veins. It will also be having the renal arteries, and whatever space is left in the renal sinus, that would be filled by the fat. So in a way it is said that in the previous video, as we have done, that the perinephric fat. So perinephric fat, which is just beneath or just outside the main capsule, or just beneath the Gerota's fascia, would continue into the renal sinus. okay, it would continue into the renal sinus. So I repeat again, this is the whole space is the renal sinus. It is having the renal pelvis, which is actually this upper part of the ureter. So that is your renal pelvis, which is the one which is actually getting the infundibulum, which was getting the major and the minor calyces and the collecting duct that we just saw. So this whole is a collecting part, and apart from this renal pelvis and the other collecting part, it will also have the renal vessels as well as the fat. So renal sinus, renal hilum, and the renal pelvis over here. And where does the pelvis normally continues into the ureter? Normally it is extra renal outside the kidney, around the lower pole. Around the lower pole, or you can say the inferior part of the medial border of the kidney. Okay, so this was our this two parts of the kidney. How are they functioning? And now subsequently, the structures arrangement in the renal hilum. So in the renal hilum, you can see from anterior to posterior, the main arrangement of the structure is, first you have the most anteriorly you have the arrangement of the vein, behind it you have the artery, and behind it you have the pelvis. It is remembered as VAP, that is vein, artery and pelvis. Vein, artery and pelvis. So if we try to make a kidney over here, just try to make a kidney, it's two kidneys, the right kidney over here, okay, and the slightly higher up, that is your left kidney over here. Okay, so what is the most posterior structure? The renal pelvis. So let us make renal pelvis continuing down as the renal ureter, just to show you the arrangement of the structures. Now in front of the renal pelvis, we had the second part, that was the renal artery. So if we try to make the renal artery over here, and the renal arteries, they are coming from the abdominal aorta around the L2 level. So the right renal artery is slightly bigger because the aorta is on the left side. So imagine this to be your aorta, this to be the aorta. Okay, slightly thicker one we can make. Okay, this is your aorta. Okay, so this is your right renal artery, and that would be your left renal artery. That would be our left renal artery. Now in front of the renal artery, we had the renal vein. So here we have the renal vein also, and this renal vein is draining into which? It is draining into the IVC that is located to the right side. So this would be our IVC. This location to the right side of the aorta, or to the right of the midline, would be our inferior vena cava, and this would be our left renal vein. So you can very easily see that which vein is longer, right or the left one. The left renal vein is longer. The left renal vein is in front of the aorta, because the arrangement of the structures at the hilum that we have already seen from anterior to posterior was vein, artery and the pelvis, and so the structure goes like this. Okay, so these are the arrangement of structure which are in the renal hilum. So they also form a part of the renal sinus. So I have tried to discuss it over here. So these were the important important points in the internal structure of the kidney. Okay, in my next video we'll start with the vasculature part. So that's all. If you like the video, then obviously don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Okay, that's all from my side, Dr. Ankit, Anatomy Explained.